Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs through episode 5 of Sorcery, where with just a little bit of sorcery, I'm going to tell you about all the greatest crowdfunding games that are going to be ending their campaigns over the next 2 weeks. And interesting that this is episode 5 of the show because I've got exactly 5 games to tell you about. And please remember folks, these are games that tickle all of my itches. And I love games that work well with 2. I'm not really chasing after a bunch of really cool solo games I saw when I was doing all my research, a lot of really great family-friendly games. There are definitely more games, but I'm about to tell you about the 5 that really have interesting Euro-style mechanisms that should work with 2 that really have me very, very interested. So, without further ado, let's get going. First of all, let's talk about Paleo Vet, which looks like it is going to be ending on the 18th of August. And I'm really interested in this one, in part because I'm kind of sick and tired of the Jurassic Park games that recreate Jurassic Park in the weird way where, we stay open for business even though people keep dying. This game says no. After Jurassic Park shut down, the dinos still needed our help. And so we are veterinarians who come back here and try to help all the poor dinos who didn't ask for this, get over their snuffles in a world that wasn't made for them. And it is a dice mitigation game. Every round you roll 4 dice. They can help you tranquilize the animals. They can help you research cures. They can help you cure them. But the interesting thing is, over rounds, the tranquilizers will eventually wear off. So you have to be playing smartly with the dice you roll. You can use 2 or 3 of a kinds to unlock wilds or extra bonuses. You can unlock special dice, and the dinosaurs themselves have special powers too if you can heal them. It seems to me like a very, very cool, fun-looking little game. I love fast dice mitigation games. It seems very thematic. It's a theme I'm personally really interested in, and I just love that idea of tension that I just need a little bit more time. I should solve this one, but this one will wake up next turn, and he's a hard one. I should bird in the hand, 2 in the bush. Seems like it would, come through the roof. In my first game I wanted to talk about today, Paleo Vet. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, which is one that I've already covered on the channel. I did a run through for Dead Reckoning, Letters of the Marque. And oh my gosh, this game is fantastic. My wife, Jen, loved it to pieces. And we shouldn't, because this is a 4X style pirates sailing the ocean blue, trying to run afoul of each other and steal each other's stuff and sink each other and fight and blah, 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 blah. And honestly, I don't care about any of that. But the interesting thing is, not widely known, Dead Reckoning, which is an immensely popular game. People absolutely love it to pieces because it uses the wonderful card crafting system from designer John D. Clare and mixes it with wonderful 4X style, exploration, expansion, exploitation, and extermination gameplay. And then a really fun cube tower too, a cube drop mechanism, which is a lot of fun. Here's the deal why Jen and I like it so much. Because it also has really excellent co-op rules for 2 players. And my only problem with the original Dead Reckoning is the base game could go on a little long. Letters of the Marque adds several new things with this. This is the 3rd expansion for the game. Most importantly, features that speed the game up, that kind of turbocharge it, which was the #1 thing I really wanted to see, which is why I cannot wait to get a final copy. And folks, this is definitely something you check out, because I think Dead Reckoning as a whole is too big a game to make it to retail. I'm not sure about this, but I think the main way you can get Dead Reckoning is via these crowdfunding campaigns. And this one is going to be ending on the 19th of August. So check out my run through to learn more about why Jen and I have so fallen in love with Dead Reckoning, especially when you add the Letters of Marque. Okay. Next up, we've got a game that I have not covered, but I am very jealous of people who have gotten to. It is Foundations of Rome. And this is another game that you can pretty much only get through special events like this or at conventions because it's way too big and expensive to be sold at retail. These are the kinds of games that Kickstarter and other crowdfunding platforms make possible because they're so hugely ambitious. And Foundations of Rome is, at its heart, a really simple little unassuming a polyomino tile laying game, where players are competing to grab the best plots of land in ancient Rome and build the most smartly, putting all kinds of different buildings and attractions and all of that. The thing is, though, this game is ginormous because it could have just been a tile layer like Carcassonne, but instead they said, no, for every tile, we're going to have beautiful sculpted miniatures. And you can even pay more and get sun-drop, gorgeous, quasi-painted versions instead. Now, the game itself, I don't think it's unreasonable to draw a parallel to Carcassonne because it is a simple, light, family-friendly gateway-style game. Actually, it reminds me a lot in spirit with Tiny Towns, which is in my top 50 games of all time. It's so clean and simple and elegant, and it seems like the gameplay from Emerson Matsuuchi for this game is the same. And so, getting the core game, you need to get it on a Kickstarter campaign like this. They're offering the new expansion, Roads of Fortune, as well. So, if you've ever been interested, now is the time to jump on board. Is the game worth the incredibly huge price tag? That I can't say because I have not had a chance to play it myself. But I think about games like Furnace. I think about games like Carcassonne. I think about games like Tiny Towns. And if a game that has gameplay that's that pure and good and solid and deep and yet simple, supplemented by one of the most incredibly bonkers, over-the-top, beautiful productions of all time, it just might make sense. And don't take my word for it. There's over 6,000 people who seem to think it is worth, digging in on, which is why I figured I should let you know you've got until August 22nd to back Foundations of Rome. Okay. Then we move on to the next one. Number 4 is another game that we have actually covered on the channel. It's Davy Jones's Locker. And now, originally Shay did the run through for it, and because I wasn't sure if I was really that interested in the game. But after watching Shay's run through, I'm jealous that I'm not the one to cover it, because this is a cooperative game about pirates sailing the ocean's blue, but cooperatively trying to get ahead. And it's interesting, this game comes in 2 halves. The first half of the game, Shay likens it almost to an eldritch horror style situation of traveling around a map, having all kinds of narrative adventures and all of that, but as pirates. So that's cool. The game could have just been that. But the reason we play that first half of the game is to level up our ship and level up our crew, because when the second half of the game starts, the Kraken wakes. The full title is Davy Jones's Locker, The Kraken Wakes. And everybody then gets thrown into an epic boss fight for the rest of the game as we try to defeat the Kraken. And every time you play, the Kraken is going to be new and different because it combines different special abilities and hardships you have to overcome and all of that. It's the same Kraken, but with different special powers or a different combination every time you play. And it's an epic capper to the first half of the game. And I just love this idea. It sounds so much fun. And what I really love more than anything else is, when you get to the boss fight, the Kraken is unrelenting. Your ship very likely will sink, but it's not over, because your crew survives. They then become a meeple floating in the ocean, and if another player can get to you, they can pick you up, and then you can continue taking your turn on the ship of your teammate and doing special actions. That is so cool. The theme is so strong with this, and you get 2 games in one. I'm really, really impressed. And if you want to know more about it, you can check out Shay's run through. He did a really great job demonstrating both sides of the fence. Although bear in mind, he had a prototype. His board was not the final board. Some people said, "Oh, I don't like the look of the board." The designer said, check out the Kickstarter page to see what it really looks like. Anyway, though, folks, Davy Jones's Locker, The Kraken Wakes, ends on the 25th of August. Watch Shay's run through to see why it's so cool. I've got one more to talk about today, folks, and it's on GameFound instead of Kickstarter. It's Amygdala. And now this is one I have not played, even though I very, very much desperately want to, because it is from Kramer and Kiesling. I would say the undisputed game design duo. When these two work together, they create board game masterpieces. And Amygdala looks like the latest one. It's a fairly abstract game all about trying to manipulate the amygdala of a person, which is apparently where our emotional state predominantly is processed in our brains. And so, I don't understand how this game works, but oh my goodness, it looks so pretty. With all these different tokens you can play that represent thoughts and emotions and all of that. I have to admit, I've had a very difficult time trying to understand the game from the videos I've seen, because I think most people are just kind of ignoring the theme. I think the theme is potentially there, but I'm crazy. I said there's a strong theme in Azul. You can go watch my run through of Azul. And I want to try to see this so I can see how the theme of, almost kind of a Disney Pixar Inside Out could come to play here, where we are trying to manipulate emotions to try to control the amygdala. I love the look of it. Some people haven't, and it's interesting. The developer said, oh, well, hey, we've relaunched and we've come up with a two-sided board. So if you don't like the super colorful board that is, I think is beautiful, but some people think is just too busy, then you can switch to the other side, which is a little bit more sedate. So that's really great. I just cannot wait to check this game out because Kramer and Kiesling have never let me down. I've always been impressed by every one of their designs where the two of them work together. So I love the subject matter. I personally love the presentation, although they give you alternate versions of the presentation, and I want to try this for myself and see if there is more theme than people are letting on in Amygdala. And folks, you have until, I believe, August 25th. Unfortunately, it's hard to say because GameFound doesn't come right out and say exactly what day it ends. They say, oh, there's 9 days left, and depending on time zones, who knows when it really ends. So I think it ends on either the 24th, the 25th, or the 26th. I'm going to go with the average and say, check it out before the 25th if you might want to seek that one out. And that's it, folks. Sorcery done. And we've got another 5 games that I think are very, very interesting. And watch this channel because I'll be back in 2 weeks from now to tell you about Kickstarter campaigns that will be ending early in September. And I think there's going to be some very, very cool ones in the works. So that's it, folks. Have a very, very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.